Hello, hello, hello. My name is Adam Sutherland, and welcome if you are new here. I am sitting in a shed somewhere in Scotland, and I'm going to be sharing everything that I've found out so far with you guys about the art of writing tunes. I play the fiddle, I play Scottish fiddle music, a bit of Irish, bit of other stuff from around the world. But yeah, this is me, Adam Sutherland, in my wee shed somewhere in Scotland, and tonight I am going to be sharing with you a technique, a phrasing technique that I love to use, have used often, and every time I use it, it kind of like works again, but in a different way. So it's not like I'm writing the same tune every time. It's a kind of way of thinking, and I'm gonna share this with you by sharing with you a tune that I wrote recently for a lovely couple out in Dubai called Miriam and Adam, and they got in touch asking me to write a tune for them, so I did, and it's called the Jaffilia Jig, and yeah, they get to name it because they paid me for that. That's something that I do. Please get in touch if you feel like having a tune named whatever the heck you like. So yeah, I'm going to play you the tune, and I'm going to just turn down my microphone settings a bit because I think it might make it sound a bit better, and I'm going to try and see if I can change to a different camera. Let's see if this works. Hello up there. Okay, so this is the Jaffilia Jig. I might even see if I can just give you... There's the tune. Alright. 2-part jig. Turn down the microphone sensitivity just a little bit more. And this week I must try not to kick the mic stand. Hey Michael, nice to see you here. So that's it, that's the tune. And yep, let me know any thoughts about the sound and everything. Does that sound make sense? Um, just come and say hi, actually, if you're in the comments. And if you're in the future, not in the live chat, hello. Hello, future person. Hello, future. Hope it's nice. Hello, Michael Bishop. Welcome. Okay, so I wrote this doing what I don't often do, I haven't often done historically in my own life, which is I deliberately set out to compose a tune. And I've shied away from doing that oftentimes because I have worried that it might sound like it was written by someone who was deliberately trying to set out and write a tune. I was worried that it might not sound like some kind of like, spark of inspiration. I'm starting to realise that belief of mine that the best way to write tunes was just when they come to you. I'm starting to realise that belief that core belief, if you like, was essentially stupid. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than discovering a belief that I have to be stupid and then deleting it. So I think, waiting for ideas to come is stupid. And there's nothing I hate more than being stupid. I don't mind stupidity from anyone else, but for me, for some reason, I can't stand it. I get really annoyed at myself if I do something stupid, which is every day, all day. So anyway, this tune, I set about trying to write it. The first thing I did, I'll get to the secret sauce bit in a wee while, but the first thing I did was I just tried to find a pleasing run of notes. And that was just noodling. So I don't know how long it took me before I found these notes. I don't even know if I put it in jig time immediately. That's what I just thought, what's a nice run of notes? It's almost like a scale. So I kind of got this open jiggy. And I thought, what would be that D is a bit kind of like, whoa, where'd that come from? I wanted to have a bit of a surprise. And that's the interrupting phrase. It's like that joke. Have you heard about the joke with the interrupting sheep? Meh. It's the musical equivalent of that. I love question and answer phrasing in all the old tunes. But this thing that I'm going to kind of talk about a lot today, because I've done it lots of times in this tune, is the interrupting answer phrase. So have a listen. I'll play these two phrases and I'll change them a bit so that there isn't an interrupting phrase. Oh, I can't even do it. I don't know, but it's just... So the first phrase is really diddly 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 da, and the answer phrase comes just after that. Diddly 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 di ba ba da da ba da da ba da. That's like, whoa, what about me? So that's where I got started. Yeah, answering for it. So it's in A, and I thought, what about a D chord? And then kind of going up to E, taking that deep da idea a bit further. In fact, I'm going to put the music on the screen actually here. I'm wondering if that's distorting a wee bit. I'm going to turn my volume down a wee bit here. when you get to that E, you've kind of moved on to what you call chord 5. We're in A. Chord 5 up from A is E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm sure many of you know, but if you don't know, chord 5 creates tension and sets you up for landing back on A again. So if I play the notes of chord 5, E, it lands nicely back onto. So I've gone basically A, chord 4, interrupting, chord 5. Those notes there, the B to the E, very much hitting chord 5, those notes of E major. And that D makes that E chord into a E7. And E7 really, really wants to land back on A. As well as it chordally going from E to A, I want the melody to just land back on A. Also, these phrases are very much going up and down by step. Here, from the E. And then contrasts nicely with, because the notes that come after, as soon as you've done that, you're away from the E string, you're away from a high A, you're left that behind, down here, and you're all down here, going up and down by a step. And that's you back to the start of the A part, and that is the A part. So it's kind of chord 1, interrupting phrase, second phrase with chord 4, and then phrases 3 and 4, like one big long phrase all around chord 5, then chord 5 with a 7, which sets you up for. So that's the first part. Second part, I've taken a little bit of the idea, a little bit of the first part, which was that interrupting phrase, that D, but the ba, taking that on a bit of a journey, which is something that I think is a fun thing to do. It doesn't always work out, but I like to do that. And if you're writing tunes, that's a concept you can do, use, wield, utilize. Take some element of the first part and take it on a bit of a journey. It's not the only way to do it. You don't have to do it. There are tunes out there that don't do this, but it's something you can try. So in this instance, the element that I took on a journey in the B part was that rhythm. So, dip da ba dip ba ba dip ba ba dip bip ba. I also took it into a different key, the relative minor key of A major. So I got this hook, and this is the bit that I was referring to in my thumbnail. It's not just the interrupting phrase, it's that kind of on steroids. So the hook is this little phrase. second half does more than that, but I took that phrase on a wee journey. Oh, hey Linda, in the comments, nice to see ya. I actually can't see you. Hi, anyway, hi to Rog. So I did that phrase twice, so it's got some meat on it. And then I thought, what about keeping that phrase going, keeping that rhythm going, but just changing it a tiny bit? So I changed the bottom note. So instead of going C sharp to F sharp, changed it to C sharp to E. Okay, so I kind of thought, right, I'm going to take this on a chord journey. Oh, hey Raj. So I thought I'm going to go down to D again. I'm going to imply this chord sequence. F sharp minor. Then kind of. Then. I'm going to just kind of go. Just like a chord sequence has been in so many pop and rock songs. It's like the end of Stairway to Heaven, you know, which I'm not going to play because Jimmy Page will be on this like a shot, I'm sure. No, he'll because the C sharp means something in the first chord, something different in the second chord, and then I will never tire of that, those chords. So those chords made into a melody using our da de ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba rhythm. This is what I came up with. Except you may have noticed that that's not what the tune does entirely. That's what I started off with writing, just having it the same phrase going down. And then eventually just kind of winding its way back to the repeat of the part, and also winding its way back to start the tune by using the same step-by-step thing. So I could have written a tune, and I think it would have been totally fine. I could have just written it where it's this descending phrase that just changes note by note and goes. And that would have been like fine. But I'm not interested in making something that's fine. I'm interested in trying to make something that's bloody good. And I'm not saying I always manage it, but I'm only interested in trying to make something bloody good. And when I think I've got something good, I'm a fan of just going, but is it good enough? Could it be better? Maybe the answer is it is good enough and it can be better. Fine, but it's still worth asking the question. In my head, I can't tell anyone else what to do. I'm just telling you what I do. Is it good enough? Could it be better? Is it good enough sounds a bit negative, but could it be better brings in your imagination, forces you to think, forces you to, what if this isn't the best version of the tune? If there was a better version of this tune, what would it sound like? So this was my answer to that question, which was to not just have it going not just exactly the same. So I brought in the interrupting phrase. Hopefully you can see it on the screen. I thought, let's just actually break out of the pattern here and go and bring in a bit of the do-do-do-do-do from the first part. Let's have that interrupt this second phrase. I like that. It takes the pressure off this. And what I mean by saying it takes the pressure off, it means you're less likely to get bored of that. If it was just I think you're likely. I think the tune has less shelf life. I think it kind of like goes off soon. So by just not doing all the way through the second part, by just mixing up that with this little bit from the first part, I think the tune has more longevity. Linda, hey, question. If the tune tells you what it wants, is it good enough? It's a very personal thing. I can't tell anyone else. If you think, yeah, I mean, if it's just a very personal decision. It's your tune, it's your composing. If the tune is saying what it wants and it's done, good. But also, it's still good to answer. It's still good to ask the question. Maybe the answer is, like you're saying, yeah, it is good enough. Good. Then you've asked the question, you've chucked something at the tune, you've chucked something at your creative process, and the tune has survived. Good. And if you chuck something at it and the tune said, well, actually, yeah, it could be a bit better, then that's also good. That's my own personal wiring. So the second phrase. It's not just that, it's. Oh, yeah. And the third phrase gets interrupted even sooner. That's all it gets. So the last 4 bars of the tune, done the less interesting way, would just be diddly 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 diddly, boom, back to the start. But this way, the last phrase, the last 4-bar phrase, is longer than 4 bars. It butts in sooner, and I just think that is so much more interesting. It takes the pressure off. That's just like too much of a good thing there. Takes the pressure off. It's almost like, I think of this almost like architecture, almost like a load-bearing bridge or something. And it's almost like you're, by just having the same rhythm, it's a lot of pressure on that structurally to hold the weight. And I think this is just, it just takes the heat off, and it's a much more interesting shape. It's less blocky. It's not like, doof. I'm going to just take away the tune for a second. It's not like blocky. 2 bars here, 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 4 bars, 4 bars, boom. It's 2 bars here, 2 bars here, 2 bars here, different 2 bars here, then 2 bars here, interrupting the end of the 2 bars, and then the last phrase is like 6 bars essentially, or just over 6 bars. So it's a different shape. So I'm going to play the second part the boring way. I'll go into the. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll play the whole tune twice, all right? And then I will play it the first time just overkill. Right? And then I'll play the tune again the way it's written. And before I do that, I'll look at the comments. Michael, hearing another instrument doing 1 2 3 1 2 3 with oomph in the B part. What instrument are you hearing, Michael? Let me know. Linda says fair points. Thank you, Linda. But composing is so personal. I will never tell somebody else how to compose. I won't say it's a very personal thing. I'll just tell you how I do it, and that's all I can do. I don't have the right. It's not my place. I just dropped my shoulder rest on the ground. Okay. Right, I'm going to try and play this. Check my tuning. Michael says you're hearing Alice Allen playing. Well, she is so astoundingly good in the cello. That would be awesome. Maybe that's something that should happen. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to play the tune boring, and then I'm going to play it the way I've written it, which I hope you'll agree is less boring. First part remains unchanged. So that's it. The other final thing I'll say about this tune construction, I don't remember deciding to make it A part, B part, B part, but at some point I did, and I was fighting that. I remember thinking that's a bit too, I don't know, that's a little bit not enough A part. Are you really going to keep people like waiting that long? And I like it. I like how the fact that this B part journey is twice as long as the A part, and then when it finally lands back on the A part, you've got, I think it's quite pleasing. And you've got these notes which you don't get at all in the second part. So second part is twice as long, and when you get back to the first part, it's like, oh, those notes again. It's pleasing. So there, that's it. That's my kind of my secret thing, and is to when I have a tune, phrasing wise, to not overuse a good idea, not to go to recognize that phrasing wise that's fun, so don't do it every time, and to interrupt the flow of deep with something that's not that rhythmically, and then it interrupts it again. So it's all about just not having, I suppose what I'm saying in a nutshell is not having blocky phrasing all the time. And if you have, I think particularly if you have a rhythmic motif in a tune, like that's a rhythmic motif in a jig. Most jigs don't have they don't have that usually. It's not like they'll have that, so it's a bit of a thing, it's a bit of a feature. So if you're writing a tune that's got a rhythmic feature, it doesn't have to be a jig, any kind of tune would be, don't overuse that. And I feel like there's loads of amazing tunes coming out these days, and I'm not here to like throw shade on anyone else's writing, but I also think I'm allowed to wish that a tune did something differently in my own head. And so are you. So is everyone else. You're allowed to wish a tune that I'd written did something different. And if you were like a chef who loved making their own food and you went to a restaurant, I think you'd be allowed to go, I love this dish, but I kind of wish it had a bit more of this in it. So one of the things I've noticed by a lot of new tunes is they have a rhythmic figure, which is a feature, and it's overused. And it's like, damn it, that was a good idea. I love that. But it kind of sounds, I just want some relief from that so that I can enjoy it more. And that's what I'll say. I hope that's not bad of me to say that. I'm not naming names at all. It's just, I'm trying to help. And also, people don't have to agree with me. They can just say, nah, I think you're wrong, mate. Maybe I am wrong. This is my YouTube channel. I can just mouth off. I'm going to look at some of the comments. Linda says, but it made you do it. I can't actually remember what that might be referring to. Maybe you could remind me. Michael says, it's a very earwormy to play. Love that. Thank you. Is it like the hook? Yeah, it's like the hook. If something is rhythmically interesting, don't have it all the time. You'll notice that the contrasting phrases, my answer phrases that come after ba ba da ba da ba da ba ba da, they are not rhythmically interesting at all. This one. Dum da da ba da ba da ba da. It's not. There's nothing interesting about that phrase rhythmically at all. It's like la di da ba di da ba da ba di. But that boringness of that phrase really makes you appreciate ba ba da ba da ga da da ga da di da more. So interesting, funky phrases need to have, I think, need to have good friendships with boring rhythmically boring phrases, and together they are an awesome team. Funky rhythms immediately before boring rhythm. Yeah, that's what I think I'm saying. And phrases not just being blocky, not just like 2 2 2 2, but 2 2 3 1, or just mix that up. Okay, I think what I might do now is I have a really robot-y sounding basic Logic file, which I thought I'd just finish off by sharing with you. It's just like it's got the piano has been programmed in. I had a bit of fun, but I wanted to share with you the chords. The chords were taken from what the tune seemed to be doing. I spoke a little bit about the chords before, but this is, yeah, I'm going to just hit play. All right, so hopefully this works. So that's the first part. So it's the same both times, but just taking us into the B part, got this chord here, which is like a F diminished, which goes nicely to F sharp minor. So I'll just play it again. Oops. Here's the B. B part. Yeah, so just taking us back to the second time through the tune. Da, da, da. Okay, I'll stop talking. I'll just play this whole thing and then we'll say cheerio and I'll go and eat some salmon with my family. Okay, let's see now. So I'll leave you with this. This is my programmed computer version of this tune for Miriam and Adam out in Dubai, Jafilia Jig. And here we go. There you go. That's my very early days arrangement of Jafilia Jig here in my little shed studio somewhere in Scotland. And yeah, I might actually just tell you a little bit about some of the chordy stuff if you're interested. Let me see, what can I do here? I might make myself a little bit smaller. Let's see. Oh, that's not working. Anyway, yeah, I'll just talk. So over here, I did an arpeggio thing. So first of all, I love doing this, right? You get a tune, and then you work out what the tune is telling you chordally. So like the B part of this tune, for example, let's see now. That's like the notes of the tune. That descending thing. That's what it looks like. I have some rules that I follow, which are not everyone's cup of tea, but I was brought up in a choir and I was taught you don't do parallel fifths and stuff like that. So I pick notes that avoid doing that. So yeah, that's the chords. And then I put the chords into this synthesizer thingy, and I put the arpeggiator on it. That's it. Oh, that's very loud. Tape echo, and then this like delay. I rolled off a lot of it. So it's very Nintendo. I don't think this is doing anything. Oh no, it is. I actually don't think I like that. Tremolo, this is like basically turning the volume up then down again in a rhythmic way. I'm going to overdo it so you can see. And on its own it sounds like it's in 4/4, but with the tune it kind of gives it this syncopated over the top rhythm. Oh, there's no tune there. So that's the arpeggio. Then I put Strings by the Crow Hill Company. And finally, stabs. I took the same string parts and I put them into like little stabby bits, and then I actually did a bit of tightening up rhythmically, which I won't go into details of. This is I've made it sound. I've put where is it? Oh, I've just smashed that with lots of stuff. Yeah, this was originally just stab, dap, dip, dap, but I put the same delay thing on, and I did this thing where you bounce it down. It's, in other words, you just like print it out. So this is what it sounds like. And anyone who wants to know about compression, I just squashed all the dynamic range because I wanted that. There's also some distortion, I think. Maybe I actually don't know if so that's it. That's it, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. I've just seen a couple of questions. Surya, hey Surya. When you're writing a tune, do you focus on notes or rhythm first, or does it depend? Actually, this tune I focused on notes. They're just the first few notes that you're about to hear, the run up. That was my starting point. And then I made it into a rhythm. Other tunes I have started with rhythm and no notes, no key, particularly tunes in 7/8, 5/8, just getting right into rhythm. And for me, I study rhythm a lot. I love rhythm and I get right into it, I study it. And it's such a strong starting point for a tune. If you've got a rhythm worked out and you're just grooving on it, it's almost like half the job's done. I hope that answers your question. I would definitely recommend starting tunes with rhythm. There's so many different ways to start. So there we go. Hey Jessica, saying very nice. Thank you. Glad you like it. It's such a relief when people like like your tune. I'm not trying to do all like poor me and all that, but I do spend a lot of time thinking about these tunes, trying to throw everything at them until it's finished. It's really important to me that every tune that I write is structurally sound and hopefully just the kind of tune that makes people like you guys, Jessica, everyone say nice. So that means a lot. Appreciate it. Michael, great, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Michael's a very strong supporter here in this channel and also on the Patreon. Oh, I should mention I got a Patreon. Linda says she likes this one. The piano is hero. Yeah, I'm a beginner piano learner. Got this recently, but it's fun to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to play this on the piano. It's fun to use fiddles and strings, not as the tune. I like how you worded that. Piano is hero. Yeah. Syria says, "Oh, thank you." Okay, thank you. Magic. Well, thank you all. I'll be putting the dots for this up at some point on my YouTube with just a play along file. But also, if you want to buy the file, I'll be putting it on my Patreon. And if you're on my Patreon already, you can just have it with the bowings and the chords and all that. But yeah, thank you all for coming with me on this little journey. Yeah, happy tune writing, everyone. I hope that, yeah, I hope you're having fun writing tunes. And if you've never tried writing a tune, you know, maybe today's the day. So I'll try and do a fade out here. Okay, alright, so for me, Adam Sutherland, Erigi Music live here on Thursday the 6th of November. Thank goodness the fireworks seem to be calming down. Don't get me started on that. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and if you're in the future, thank you for watching. So bye bye Michael, bye bye Linda, thank you Surya, thank you Jessica, and thank you all at home who are just not commenting but just tuning in anyway. Your presence here is also appreciated. So I will say goodbye, and I'm going to go and have some salmon.